The Last of Us Part 2 Extended State of Play. Is Sony planning a PS5 reveal for next week? EA and the NFL renew their partnership, the highest grossing April in game sales history, and IGN unveils their Summer of Gaming schedule. This is the Sidescape Game Report. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sidescape Game Report for the week of May 25th to May 29th, 2020. This is James St. Charles, and I'm Jake Burke. We've got a lot of news this show, James. But before we get into any of that, we're going to go through some quick reveals and updates, a quick rapid-fire bullet points of just some small stories of the week. Fast and the Furious Crossroads has been delayed to August 7th, 2020. The gameplay reveal went live. That game looks just utterly, terribly incredible. Please go check out the trailer. The Last of Us Part 2 reviews will go live Friday, June 12th. There was a state of play that we will be talking about in just a second. BlizzCon 2020 is canceled, and there is no digital event that will take its place. They are looking for alternatives to how to do their competitive gaming scenes. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have announced that Marvel's Avengers will be getting its first War Table stream on June 24th that will showcase brand new gameplay and co-op footage. And ILM X Lab, the studio behind Vader Immortals, a Star Wars VR series, has announced Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge, a VR experience announced for 2020, having takes place in the same place of Batuu where the Disneyland park takes place. And no platforms have yet to be confirmed for that, but I'm sure Oculus and PlayStation will be one of them. Now, James, the news. Last of Us State of Play. How much did you watch? It was like a 30-minute video.
Yeah, I watched a good 10 minutes of it.
Okay. The beginning 10?
The beginning, basically the beginning 10. And then the last 10 was gameplay, right? It was basically just gameplay, yeah.
So yeah, they basically...
I just wanted to explain it.
They explained kind of what's new in The Last of Us Part 2, which I think is the more important thing to talk about. But then I would really recommend to go watch the last 7 minutes of the gameplay.
It's a lot of spoilers too if you haven't played the first game. So definitely don't watch this if you haven't played the first game because they immediately spoil you and you're done.
Yeah, the intro of the video tells how the last game ends.
The first minute is yep, this is what happens at the end.
It also, and we won't spoil it here, but we should do a spoiler cast before The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah. We should do the why.
What did you think of the advancements that Naughty Dog's doing? They showed off
the engine.
The engine looks beautiful. Today they're doing developer docs, and they did a developer doc on the details of this game. And the engine showed that tear ducts, they've worked on tear duct technology of how tears form in people's eyes. That's a big thing that they worked on because they want to have the emotion. Because video games always had the eyes are always super vacant, and Naughty Dog's really working to make those convey the emotion that they do, which is super exciting because it's just such a nerdy detail for storytelling. Very excited. But then they showed the game is obviously way more open.
Yes, huge.
Takes place a lot in Seattle, which we've known about for a while. And then kind of dove into the factions and stuff that you'll be fighting, but also a lot of differences of how combat's going to look, which looks very exciting. Oh, I can't wait.
A lot of ways to approach it, and they kind of named one of the enemies. They named the Scars, right? That was one of the enemies that you're gonna.
The religious cult.
One religious faction, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another faction in Seattle, which is very cool. I think the story sounds very interesting, all about justice and retribution, and we are so.
Because there wasn't really one in the first one. It was kind of just the Fireflies, basically.
Yeah.
And then the Guard, I guess.
Yeah, the bandits were just they were just bandits that were in the world.
They're just
right?
bandits, yeah. So.
And they really have talking about a lot of focus on making the AI seem like real people to add the gravity of obviously killing in The Last of Us is
yes.
Sounds
That's
so
a big
cool.
thing with Last of Us, struggling to take someone, attack someone or kill. Yeah, so that's why I can't wait for that. That's all I'm in for the gameplay and the story, but that environment looks amazing. Right,
and I think they really focus on that. This is the game and how you play it. So it's as much as the story has been spoiled, thankfully not a lot has been spoiled for us. That shouldn't take away from playing the game.
No.
And that's really
how you play the game really influences how what you get out of it. That's what the beauty of a gameplay. You don't just watch one. You're not just watching it the whole time. You're playing it.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
And just to spoil the beginning of the gameplay section, there's a girl playing a Vita, which is just hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that.
And she just comes up and knifes the girl playing the Vita.
Do you know what and later on, I think in the gameplay, when you pick up the Vita, do you remember that part?
No, I don't think I saw
where you're collecting stuff.
No, I didn't see it. She picked up a Vita in the first game.
No, I'm talking about the trailer, the state of play.
Oh no, I didn't see her do that.
It was towards the end because that was people were talking about it because they were playing a Hotline Miami 2 soundtrack during it on the PS Vita.
Awesome.
It was like Moon, one of those good songs.
That's super cool. I didn't know that.
I was like, dang, yeah.
Wow, quite a pull.
Super fun.
But God, we are so close. In another world, before it would have got delayed for the third time, we would be playing it tonight, by the way. Which just hurts a little bit inside.
At least it's close. It's not too far away.
I think we're like 13. No, that doesn't sound right because it's the end of May. We're close. We're like 20-something days away. I can't wait. Mm-hmm. Now, James, let's talk the news because we got a lot of it. Sony is planning a PS5 conference for as early as next week. This comes from Jason Schreier and Toshiaki Mochizuki at, am I going to say Kotaku? No, I'm going to say Bloomberg because he left Kotaku. This is his first story that he's like really posted. Sony Corp is planning a digital event to showcase games for its next generation PlayStation 5 that may take place as early as next week, according to people with direct knowledge of the matter. The virtual event could be held June 3rd, though some people also caution that plans have been in flux and that date may change. Other PlayStation 5 events may follow in the coming weeks and months, and Sony is not expected to reveal every essential detail on the console during its first presentation. A Sony spokesperson declined to comment. The Japanese tech giant has only let out a trickle of information on the PlayStation 5, which the company says is planned for a release this holiday season, despite the COVID-19 pandemic that has dampened its promotional plans. Fans have been eager to hear about the lineup of video games that will launch alongside the console and those that will later be revealed. Sony's biggest rival, Microsoft Corp, has put out regular streams and updates about upcoming Series X games, which is also planned for a release this fall. Most video game publishers' announcement plans have been disrupted by the pandemic, which has led many to replace planned live press conferences with pre-recorded presentations. What do you think?
Finally.
Right.
But it looks like they're well prepared. So if this comes out true, they're gonna be showing up. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm curious if it does happen next week. It'd be kind of weird to just have it pop.
It's kind of weird that they don't announce it this week because this seems really big. Like for what it sounds like, they could announce it tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow, so they could be like, "Hey, tune in next week."
I'm almost wondering in my head if they're waiting until The Last of Us comes out. I mean, Jason Schreier knows way more about this world than I do.
That's way like far away, but I could see it. I mean,
at this point though, like, I don't know. Yeah. It just for me that takes away such like from a big exclusive. Like, we also got another console that's doing all this crazy stuff, but maybe.
Oh, because you think it's overshadowing?
Yeah,
you're right.
That's just how I think. But Jason Schreier obviously knows way more than I do, so I trust his judgment.
He has good judgment and calls. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Oh, I really hope so. I want to see what this thing does. I mean, if it's next week, that's insanely exciting.
Yeah, because we haven't seen much.
No.
From either side.
And we don't know like any games.
That's the games is the one thing. It's like a couple.
Yeah.
I want to see the ones that are like the up-res one or like the up versions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm more interested in. Like, I want to see the comparison between the PS4 versus PS5 up version games and see if it's like how much better it is. I'm gonna guess it's like a lot better, but I just want to see how.
Well, they've showed you how quick Spider-Man loads in like the 35 demos they've done that in.
Loading.
Well, and the interesting thing that, obviously last time there was a console generation with PlayStation 4, they had a presentation. I want to say it was like in February, I think is when their presentation was. Like their first unveiling of like, this is the PS4.
Oh,
not their E3 conference where they just destroyed Microsoft at every turn, and it's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. But they did a conference basically saying like, here's the tech inside our system. And that was it. And they've already done all of that, really. Like they've talked about the specs. They've talked about their focus on audio. So it's like they've done that initial presentation. Now we're waiting basically for almost that E3 conference where we see
you're waiting for the E3.
Yeah.
Or like whatever GDC, whatever one like they were supposed to show.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that.
And I imagine we'll see in the next presentation, we will see what the box looks like. Because now we know what the Series X thing looks like. And
will we though?
I think so.
We've only seen the controller.
I don't know, man. It's very weird how it's all been done. And of course, no E3 throws a wrench in that plans as well. But Sony wasn't going to be there anyways.
Yeah.
You know what else is a big deal, James? The NPD numbers for this month. NPD US console sales in April up 163% to 420 million. This comes from James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz. A surge in console sales drove the US video games market to its best April to date. To the NPD's group's latest figures show hardware sales more than doubled year on year, up 163% to 420 million. It's the highest April hardware spend since 2008. 427 million year-to-date spending on consoles has risen by 30% year-on-year to 1.2 billion. The main driver of growth has been the Nintendo Switch, no doubt buoyed by the ongoing success of Animal Crossing New Horizons, plus the COVID-19 prevention measures which have seen much of the nation stay at home in need of entertainment. Nintendo's consoles topped both the unit sales and dollar rankings in the US last month. Year-to-date dollar sales of the Nintendo Switch are now the highest for any platform in US history, shattering the record set by the Wii in April 2009. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. But it's worth noting that Sony and Microsoft also fared well last month. As well as the Switch, both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One saw hardware sales risen by more than 160% when compared to April 2019. And they've got new consoles coming out this year. That's nuts. Total spending on games and hardware, software, accessories, and game cards rose 73% year-on-year to 1.5 billion, setting a new record for April's month reported spend. The previous bar was April 2008 when US gamers spent 1.2 billion. Year-to-date total spend stands to 4.5 billion, up 12% compared to the last point this year. But now we get to hardware, or we get to software, which I think is even more interesting. The US has spent more than 2 billion on game software so far this year, 6% higher than the same period in 2019. Final Fantasy VII Remake was the best-selling game this month, third biggest selling game of the year so far, and set a new record for the franchise in terms of both launch month unit and dollar sales. It beats records set by Final Fantasy 15 back in December 2016. The RPG remaster is already the biggest selling PS4 game of the year so far. Call of Duty Modern Warfare also enjoyed a strong month, holding on to its position as the best-selling game of 2020 and the best-selling game of the past 12 months. It is also the fourth fastest-selling game in US history, based on dollar sales from the first 7 months. Spending on accessories and game cards rose by 49% year-on-year to 384 million, with the year-to-date spending at 1.3 billion, up 8%. Okay, the top 10 of last month. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Animal Crossing, NBA 2K20, Grand Theft Auto 5, Resident Evil 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, MLB The Show, Madden NFL 20, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh.
You got to talk for a second because I'm out of breath. That was a lot of words.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake at the top. That is exciting.
Hell yeah. We're getting part 2.
Oh, we're getting it, but we're going to get it with a lot of money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get some major money thrown at it, which is good.
Yes.
On a new console. Like, it's going to like probably I got to guarantee it's going to be better than the first.
Oh, God, I can't wait, man.
Like, you could see where they went with the first, and like, this could be a whole new game. It could be just touching on things in the Final Fantasy VII universe that I know you got deeply involved in, and I've read up on. It's a beautiful story.
It's very exciting.
I think it's gonna be good.
Well, I think it's great that game sold like so well too.
I can't believe it's first out of, and then Animal Crossing is third.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was gonna be like still at the top. Has that been like dying down a bit, or?
I would say that like the people that wanted Animal Crossing mainly got it right away, and it's just still been like now the people it's like, oh, I guess I should get that. You know,
okay,
like that's how I would
this
say.
Is kind of like, what's out there? Yeah, let me get
I don't think you're really turning many people onto Animal Crossing that are already there, but I don't know.
Well, do you think like people not being able to get Switches is hurting it?
I think that's a problem too, but I know that Switches are a lot more in stock than they were about a month ago. Like they're a lot easier to find now. Obviously, it's the best-selling console of the month and of the year so far, which is awesome for Nintendo.
Yep.
I think the weirdest thing is Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
No, we talked about this. Like, I feel like it's always on there, but people are just buying the base game because they're playing the
Warzone.
Battle Royale, and it's like, oh, I want to level up my gun. I have to buy the base game to do that because it's I can't level up my gun on dying like every single 10 minutes.
Well, I get that it being in the top 10 and being like a very high selling game for this year. What I'm looking at is it's the fourth fastest selling game in US history.
Call of Duty.
I know, but everyone, you always say like, when's Call of Duty going to reinvent itself? It is Modern Warfare. What a weird title.
It's going back in time now. It's reinventing itself. We're going to get another Cold War game. Yeah.
We are getting a Cold War game. Probably
We're going back again.
What if it's just like Call of Duty World War? Instead of World at War, it's just World War.
That'd be good.
It'd be something else. They really need to work on these names. I hate that it's called Modern Warfare. It confuses me so much. But you know what's not confusing, James? The EA and the NFL to extend partnership until 2025. This comes from James Batcher at GamesIndustry.biz also. The owners of the National Football League are expected to extend an exclusivity deal with Electronic Arts this week that will see the Madden series continue until 2025. Voting on the deal takes place tomorrow, according to Sports Business Daily, and will give the publisher exclusive rights to developing and distributing simulation games based on NFL teams and matches. The deal reportedly also includes the non-exclusive rights to make arcade-style games and additional embedded companion apps companion apps and modes. The extension will also take Madden EA series up to 2025 season and potentially the 2026 season if the games succeed in achieving certain revenue goals, a source told Sports Industry. So, the thing that I think is weird about this, not really crazy, unexpected, but remember 2K got the football license back.
Yeah, yep.
But they can't use NFL players.
Yeah.
It's a whole weird thing. Like
you don't need NFL players to make a football game, which is, I think, going to be their avenue to like make a Blitz type game.
That's what I hope for now. Like that's what you kind of got to do. Because what I thought they were going to do, I thought it was going to be like NBA Playgrounds, the game that just came out that was also using the NBA license, but they can't do simulation games. They can only do arcade games. So like an arcade style. And that's why the arcade thing was open for a while. Now EA is getting the exclusive arcade rights as well. So that's, I think, where like there was still an opening for them to do a Blitz kind of game with the arcade style.
Yeah.
With, Patrick Mahomes and Peyton.
We don't have any word of like a game in development. No, it's just like they have it and like we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. They've just kind of said that, but I just thought it was an interesting touch on what we talked about in the past.
Yes, exactly. That's what when you said when I was reading it, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're gonna follow that's NFL story the whole way through.
And neither of us
can use it.
Neither of us will probably play Madden 2021.
No.
I'm not allowed to play them in my relationship anymore because I get like obsessed with sports games. So it's like a dangerous, obsessive compulsive thing.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's bad. Anyways, this is a news show, not about me. What it is about though is IGN Summer of Gaming schedule, charity events, and more revealed. This comes from Joe Scrabbles at IGN. This is a big story, so we'll kind of take it in chunks, okay? We at IGN are happy to reveal the schedule for our Summer of Gaming event in June, including our brand new IGN Expo Showcase, where we will debut exclusive game reveals, trailers, gameplay demos, and more. We are also excited to announce a series of charity events and special icon segments featuring interviews with iconic developers and some of the world's most influential games. We've got a packed month of game reveals to bring you, not the least with 3 days of the IGN Expo, our showcase for exclusive announcements, reveals from developers across the industry, taking place on June 5th, 8th, and 9th. The IGN Expo will come alongside other announcements and shows from our partners across the industry throughout the month, including the likes of CD Projekt Red, Blizzard, and Xbox, all accompanied by our team's experts' analysis and pre- and post-show coverage. You'll want to check for the full schedule of announcements, but over the month we'll be bringing you everything from Cyberpunk 2077 details to the next-gen footage to brand new game reveals to exclusive footage from Wasteland 3, New World, Samurai Jack, Battle of Time, and much, much more. Thoughts so far before we dive into the schedule?
The schedule is looking good.
A lot of stuff.
I know we were excited when it was first announced. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's many people who are skeptical because they knew it was in good hands.
I think so.
What this event was going to be, what it was replacing, and from what we've seen, it's gone off without a hitch. Mm-hmm. Like it's the first couple events reveals amazing.
Yes.
So looking at the schedule, some good games, and I can't wait for the Cyberpunk. That's all I want.
Right. Yeah. And Cyberpunk's doing their own thing, which is Night City Live, right? I think that's what it's called, Night City Wire, Night City Live, where they're going to be doing deep dives, but they're kind of coordinating with Jeff Keighley and IGN to kind of work through.
That's how this should be done. Mm-hmm. Like it should be the companies doing their own thing, but they're cluing in with the overall event, which provides like, unity and where consumers, where people can see your products. So it's really good.
I think that's the one kind of weird thing right now is I know GameSpot's also doing something and like a few other outlets are doing like their own Summer of Gaming, and it's like, we might get to a point where there's too many, and then we'll have to see like who's going to win out.
Well, that's why I want the unified, but at the same time, I don't want like, pay me however much to have a booth, and like, it just needs to be like, it's going to be available here, and everyone's in agreement. This is how we're doing our events, or this is how we're coordinating timing wise. No one's like having two events at one time. They're all having their own slots, and that's what I think is important and hard to do. But
I would agree.
It's gone off good.
Yeah, so far so good. So the standouts for me, I just on the schedule that I went through and just kind of piecemealed for Whatever. The standouts are various charity speedrun challenges throughout the month, raising money, which I think is really cool.
Interesting. That's always done, though.
Yeah, no, I just think it's cool to include it into their kind of summer gaming and make it on a higher profile stage, which is cool. Kind of like Games Done Quick, like that charity.
Yeah, there's used to be Summer Games Done Quick, but that definitely got canceled. Yeah. They had Awesome Games Done Quick and Summer Games Done Quick, and they always do it for like Doctors Without Borders or recently they've done like some of the gamer charities, which I love those ones too, where like, providing games to people in hospitals.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know that they do that. I just didn't know if they were still doing it. So
they've been doing some events, but like they're purely online.
Okay.
The big events are all got canceled because that's where they all meet up in person, so you can't do those.
And have you seen IGN speedrun videos where they like show the developer the speedrun?
Yes, I've seen those. Those are really good.
Really cool.
There is one. Wait, did you see the Doom one?
Yes.
Insane. And they like the developers are like arguing like who messed up or like some of the stuff, like who left that dev room in there. I love that. That was just.
I thought that was really.
It's a really neat thing. Yeah. It's really cool when you see you put the game on its back, basically. The developers are like, what? How are they doing that?
It's always I remember this like story from the Halo 3 making of documentary where they talked about like no matter what, your game will be broken. Like someone will find a way to break your game. It's inevitable. And there was a main level in Halo 3, which is the one that had like the beach and that trail that went up to the blockhead area. Do you remember talking about that multiplayer map? There was like a little tree that you could hop on, and then there was a ledge like in the rock. Yep. And they talked about how developers knew that was probably some way to get to this rock, but nobody could do it. So they're like, nobody's ever gonna get to this rock. And finally, like the minute that the beta went live, people were up on the rock and like couldn't get shot on the rock, and they're like, "Yep, we knew it was gonna happen." So they like had to talk to the people in the beta, being like, "How did you get up there? Because we need to stop people from getting up there." And they finally like had to move the rock. I just love.
There's
that
always
story.
Ways to get out of the maps. Call of Duty 4, there was ways. Halo 3, you could like gravity hammer to like get up, or like the Halo 2 had the car jump, rocket jump. Yep. All those fun things.
So the standouts from the schedule for me are June 5th, 3 unannounced game reveals by Funcom and The Outsiders, Merge Games, and an unannounced developer. That was kind of cool. June 6th is the PC Gaming Showcase, as well as the first day of the Guerrilla Collective Showcase, which we talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is the Indie Showcase, partnered with Kinda Funny. June 7th, the Guerrilla Collective Showcase Day 2. June 8th is the Upload VR Showcase and the Guerrilla Collective Day 3. As well as David Hayter, the original voice of Solid Snake, in his discussion on Metal Gear, which I thought was really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. Then you have June 11th, CD Projekt Red live stream, and then EA Play Live. And they're basically doing pre and post shows, partnering with them, but they're not like part of the event kind of deal. And then June 18th, you have a Torchlight 3 gameplay and interview with the series creator, unannounced developer interview, and exclusive gameplay deep dive. And then Chris, I might butcher his last name, so I apologize, Alvleon, the writer of Fallout New Vegas and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, discusses the magic ingredients in a great RPG. And that is something that I am very excited for because I love KOTOR. KOTOR. So, and they've also mentioned there was going to be plenty more things announced throughout the week, like Avengers.
This is some good stuff.
Yeah, the War Room Live that was just revealed is also part of Summer of Gaming, IGN's, but they just announced it like a day after. So, very exciting.
I like the surprise ones. Like even when they said like unannounced developer, that stuff is kind of cool.
Yeah,
stuff hidden. Like,
exactly. And those showcases are going to have tons of new games. And
yeah. We just know the showcase. We don't know what's some of them, like the PC. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it.
That's probably going to take place at the E3 PC conference, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah. It's probably that conference. Yeah. I don't know if Day 9's hosting it still, or who else, but
probably IGN maybe.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure if they like, hey, you could come over and host it like you usually do.
That'd be cool. Yeah. And that is the gaming news of the week. We'll be here every Friday to discuss gaming's biggest news stories. Enjoy the weekend.